Wrong channel?
I just forgot to change up restream.
Oh.
Wait, am I even on the right profile? Hold on.
It's showing Adventure 14 on ZYZ.
That's all that fucking matters. Yeah, apparently we're live on IRC D&D Adventure 13 instead, because I'm streaming to that one for whatever reason. C'est la vie. Numbers. You know, age is just a number, and numbers are just numbers, and everything is fucking numbers. It's all just math. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to IRC D&D, session number 14. Our intrepid adventurers have traipsed all the way along the island of West Moria and finally reached Gatemouth Keep at the very edge of the Daramaeus, which is a coral land bridge connecting the mainland and two islands, which were pictured on that map just a second. So with me are Angie, our ranger, with her animal companion, Fisk, and then Kuntz, the fire mage, and then bottom left is Logic, Thief, and Demon Level 1. Look at Puffy. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, then we got Logic, the Thief, Demon Slayer, Rogue, Ladies Man,
Booze Hound,
Breaker of Horses, and then at the bottom right there is Zartet, our Master Archivist, and the Druid and nominal leader of the party, as far as I can tell, because he writes all the histories and makes himself the leader. Okay. So last week we were off camera, just working with essentially dealing with some upkeep of the adventure. These guys just essentially cleared out a keep for the most part. And let me see, has anything changed that people need to know about since the last session that they saw?
I just noticed a tiny mistake we made. We forgot to roll health for level 7.
Well, let's do it right
good
now.
point.
Yeah, I thought about that.
1d4
everybody-
for me.
I forgot.
That's a little bit bigger than tiny.
Kuntz,
Kind
you
of
have you got 4 hit points. Well done.
Nice.
All right, Angie, what do you get? 10? Let's see, Angie, you get 6 hit points. I think Zarchet, you're D6, right? Or are you D8?
8.
All right, let's give you the benefit of the 8 right there. You get 3 hit points, and then Logic coming in with that big D6, 6 hit points. Good rolling. Holy shit!
Wow, 6?
Yeah, all 6.
Sweet.
So don't forget to pump yourself up if you have like a crazy constitution, but I think only Kuntz does.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Got that fat +2 every level.
Oh shit! Yeah, man, like 6 hit points. He's gonna be tanking this motherfucker.
Thank God.
Okay, so just to give you a slight rundown of the story thus far for anybody coming in, essentially these 4 were imprisoned and sent on a ship to beg forgiveness from King Geordie the Little. After there's some dispute as to what happened, but essentially there was a bar brawl, and one of King Geordie's men might have gotten pissed on. So they were being sent away to a foreign land when their ship was caught in a terrible storm that blew them back almost all the way to their homeland. They drifted for 2 weeks. They were running out of food, and finally they got into a situation where they had to abandon ship and head to the island of Moria. So there they were pursued by a strange black ship that they soon found was full of Earthworth legionnaires that chased them deeper into the mainland. They were able to rally a group of coastal defense and drive back the legionnaires. And then they proceeded across the island, finding that many things were amiss. Everywhere people were starving, fleeing towards the west, and talking about a terrible blight that had overtaken the eastern part of the island. And the remainder of their journey was traveling into that eastern part of the island, finding that many creatures had been mutated and otherwise just defiled, finding that the landscape had been devastated by strange like red rain that would fall that like squirmed like living worms. And they met up with a cast of different people like Bisbee the Smith, and they ran into the lair of Uriagan, the bootlegger, and then finally found themselves in. Did I fuck up his name again? Uranigan.
Yeah.
Uranigan. Yeah, bootlegger.
You narrate.
Unarigan.
One of these days.
I should not give people names that I can't remember. Unarigan. Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Unarigan.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Unarigan. See, his name is so shrouded in mystery that nobody can quite remember like who it is there.
That's a great, like, secret
Mhm.
magic power.
Nah.
It's like the police just can't remember your name.
In
Something
addition, they've met many people who have been trying to fight back against the corruption sweeping the land without much help. They ran into Visanthus the Winged and Marion the Druid, both of which have given Zartet a little guidance. And along the Crystal Cove, they were granted with a mystic vision and the silver tear of a goddess, the Laughing Star. Then they made their way down the river to the land of Saradil, where crocodile riding hunters make war and drink all night. And Wabigo, their chief, was so impressed with the party and their bear companion that he gifted them his royal barge, which he then quickly took right back the second that he was able to. And then they went west and fought in a heroic battle with a bunch of three-headed Hydra eels and an additional cohort of legionnaires that beset them, doing battle once again with the eyeless mage that stole Kunz's cherished fucking crotch chop goblet. And
sons of bitches.
Yeah, he fucking made it out of there. And so they essentially headed as far as they could east to Gatemouth Keep. And there they encountered a strange wizard who had been twisted and mutated so that he had two different tongues. And he could speak in two voices at once. And they were able to fell him. And this is where we left off in the Gatemouth Keep. So the party has been essentially unable to proceed because like the corrupting red rain has been falling heavily for almost better than a week right there. So all of you have been doing whatever you can during this time. I think Angie fashioned a set of armor for her pet bear Fisk. And Kuntz was fooling around in their laboratory there. Logic, I don't remember what you were up to during this time. I think prowling around.
Breaking into the secret cabinet that had long since been forgotten.
Yeah.
You got a cool sword, right?
Oh yeah, he ripped off.
I
No,
got
he ripped off
the-
the raptor blade. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yes, which is going to overpower me.
Okay, maybe. I think talking swords get a bad rap. And then so all that has been going on for a little bit there, and so you're starting to wonder if you'll ever be able to complete your quest. You can't walk into the rain. It burns everything that it touches and twists it. There's enough food here that you found stashed to keep you going for a little bit, but you're getting restless to proceed your adventure. Every day you go out and look up at the skies, and just the same ceaseless crimson storm is going on. And one thing you're noticing is it's starting to eat through the roof of the keep. In places, you start to find just this just red droplets on the floor and seeping down the walls. And so previously you were in the second floor, but as the roof starts to be eaten away, you move down to the first floor just to get away from what's there. You're all taking precautions and making sure that everything's secured. The only person that seems not to mind this is Fisk. There's plenty for him to eat, and he literally is happy to sleep like 20 hours a day if you'll let him. So for anybody just tuning in, Fisk is the bear. So anyhow, you wake up this morning, and Zartet, you and Angie have both had just a very strange dream, and you're talking about it over breakfast. Zartet, you have a dream of a tree growing in a cave. And it's a poplar tree, and it has golden leaves, but one by one, the leaves are falling off of the tree, and then they turn black as they hit the ground. And there's no light or anything feeding the tree. It's starving in the darkness. And you notice that the tree has just one leaf left. And you wake up and are not sure what to make of this dream. And then, Angie, you also have a dream of 3 little bears lost in a cave, just crying upwards. And they're all hungry. And just you have this idea that the bears are like calling for somebody to come feed them, and no food coming. And you worry that they will waste away together in the dark. And
Oh,
then,
no.
Then Kuntz and
Some
Logic,
motivation.
you just dream of titties as normal. So nothing out of the ordinary for you.
Completely normal.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I'm
That's
in
the
deep
case.
conversation with Angie
Yeah.
here.
yeah, and Logic, as you've been sort of exploring around the castle, you found one locked door that you could not get open, no matter how you tried, and it seems to go directly into like be carved into rock. And you've actually, this has been consuming like a lot of your time there, and you've been doing things like driving wedges into it with a hammer, trying to like pop it off. It is just a very solid door, and you're starting to wonder if there might be some kind of magical component that's keeping it open. So this door, essentially, Gatemouth Keep is a ring. There's one entrance. It's like essentially like a big ring. And so if you look at my hands right here, where my thumbs are, is the entrance where you came in. And at the tips of my fingers right here, this is the other gate that leads down into the Deramaeus. So this gate, this door that you can't open, is on the left-hand side of the ring, just sort of about halfway through, and it seems to be a passage carved almost directly into the mountain. And you've looked all over the keep, and you can't find any sort of key that fits there. You've tried numerous times to pick the lock unsuccessfully, and you've reached the limit of what you can do as a mere thief. But you have told the others about this.
Okay.
So now nobody has to do anything, right? But for the rest of the day, you might consider checking out this door, or if you have a better idea of what to do while you're reined in, just let me know.
Yeah, that's. I mean, obviously, I want whatever's behind this door.
Mm-hmm.
So I will enlist whatever friends I am able to enlist to come. Hey, can you just come down and take a look at this door?
Okay. So after breakfast, Logic brings you all down and shows you the work that he's been doing trying to pop open this door. And you can see that he's been prying at it with metal bars. He's been hammering wedges under the door. The door seems to be made out of almost solid bronze. And then Kuntz, looking at it, you were able to recognize that there are runes carved into it in a script called Worth, W-R-Y-T-H. So Worth is the it's easy to make out because it's a very brutal language. There are no it's all carving slashes. Like the whole thing could be carved into somebody with a knife, essentially.
Or like a tree.
Yeah. They don't have no like curves, nothing, just slashes. That's the whole language there. Kind of like Elder Furthak, or if you know what that's all about there, where everything's
Or
done.
the guitarist from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
runes. The neo-Nazi runes.
Is that? I don't think that they have any neo-Nazis
I don't know.
in this zone. But
Can any of us read it?
So let's see. You can try. Kuntz alone has a chance to try and figure out what the gist of it is. Also, another thing, logic. This door. One of the reasons why you're only finding it now is it was walled over. Like essentially, it had been plastered over, and sometime within the last like 3 or 4 weeks, somebody came and just broke apart the bricks and dug this door open. But it had been like walled over, plastered over,
Interesting.
and yeah, you can tell that it's been pretty recent because there's dust and everything all in the room. But yeah, at some point there was just a brick wall here, and then somebody came and tore all the bricks and everything down.
It's probably the two-tongue man.
So the door's like in
Potentially.
a antechamber in the kind of within the keep there. It's not like
So this looked like a this looked like sort of just like a regular room, like a bed chamber or whatever. But everything, all the bed and like cabinets and everything have been pushed to the side to give access to the wall here. So where it's just been completely knocked apart there.
All right. So we'd been here a couple of days.
You guys have been
Like-
here about 7 days at this point.
Okay. So we've been 7 days and then we come to the door here.
Yeah. So
This isn't happening in that 7 days.
this is not this. It was definitely ripped open before then. Logic, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
What's your wisdom right there?
My wisdom is 12, I believe. Correct.
Okay. You notice nothing out of the ordinary. Angie, what is your wisdom?
13.
You notice nothing out of the ordinary.
Fuck. You dumb.
But because both of you notice nothing out of the ordinary at the same time, at one moment you kind of turn to each other and you're like, something feels up there. Let's try Zartet. What is your wisdom?
14.
All right, there it is.
That's what I thought he said too. I was like, wow.
So Zartet, they're not quite footsteps, right? But in the dust leading up to the door, just because the room is full of like brick dust and so forth, they're not footprints. Like you would have noticed footprints right away, but you can see sort of a spot where there's like a disturbance, as if like many weeks ago somebody walked and the footprints had been filled in with dust. But Logic's footprints are all over the place here. Like you recognize those, but there are a set of them that are over Logic's footprints, just disturbance in the dust, as if it's weird. It's almost like there are old footprints over top of Logic's fresh ones, and just disturbances in the dust.
Uh-oh.
I like go up to Logic and I'm like looking at him in the eyes, like, are you okay? Do you feel okay? Like nothing strange. What'd you
a little
find? Did you
hungover,
find
but
some
I'm fine.
cursed object?
Oh. You mean like, well, when?
I mean, since we've been here, I mean, just look at you. I direct his attention to his footsteps and ask him if that seems strange to him.
So those
Like,
aren't the prints that are over Logic's aren't Logic's, right? They're not
right.
footprints at all. There's just some disturbance there. Like he's led you to the room and been like, "Hey, let's try and get in this door." And as you all enter the room, you come in and bring like torches, and you're struck by the fact that there's just this weird trail leading up to the door.
Almost like a ghost followed in his footsteps or
A
something.
little bit like that, Kuntz.
That's what I was
Or like a
thinking.
time traveling
An extraterrestrial.
I'm not
Bigfoot?
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, I am going to
Only one of
tell
us had
everybody. I mean,
detect
everybody knows about my dagger, so, you know.
Yeah, everybody knows about the dagger. This does not look like the trail of a dagger walking over there. Usually they tend to leave like a very sharp line.
But
Um,
Oops.
Well, if
Can anyone detect magic or anything at this point?
No.
Wow.
are you are you just saying no?
No,
Are you too
I
drunk?
don't know.
He probably just didn't learn the spell.
I learned the spell, but when we were sleeping, I did not take the spell.
Okay. I mean,
Well, we've got time.
Zartet, you also have the
Yeah.
option to memorize detect magic at any time.
Yeah,
you want.
Zartat, putting this all on me.
Well, I mean,
but probably
I hate
good
to have
berries
this
are
spell
more
just
important.
yeah, that's like,
I just need to give everybody like a wand of detect magic or something. I've never seen a party so loath to take detect magic in my life.
well, let me see something real quick.
But anyhow, so you can't. Let's just move along here.
All right.
You cannot detect magic here, but you do have the feeling that something is amiss.
What is Fisk doing? Does he think it's weird too?
That's a good question.
Can you guys give me, while you work on this, give me like 2 minutes here?
Okay.
Yes,
Sure.
Um,
So
he's
I'm still wondering if like Kunz can read it.
I do have 15.
what we should do is just assume
And
that we've
languages.
taken these housekeeping skills or spells and stuff while we're here until we decide to disembark. So it would be
That's what I was
like
thinking.
I would
I was-
assume, right, that
That's
we're
what I
not
was
going to have.
thinking
Yeah.
about time. Like if we were within that week, but if he's okay with that, yeah, that's fine. That's why I was asking that kind of what the timeline or the time frame was, because
I mean, if
also
the-
detect, I could take stone shape and try to do magic on the door too.
Mm. Well, and if we span over multiple days, anyways, then we can come back and reasonably try to essentially roll the same skill checks or whatever again, and see if like maybe tomorrow, after I've slept or something, or after Kunz has had wine or whatever, he can suddenly remember, oh yeah, this is what the Worth script says or whatever. It doesn't have to be like something we do now. We've got time, we've got supplies. The rain is eating through the castle. I don't think anybody's going to come, they're not going to make it here. I mean,
Right.
there's acid rain.
I do have the spell enlarge. Can we enlarge the door so it just explodes?
All right, thank you.
That's a good-
Sorry
that's a
for
good-
the delay there.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm just getting a delivery of something gigantic tomorrow.
A grand piano?
I wish, yeah. That'd be amazing.
Docs.
Giant dog.
Okay. So
So,
what have you guys determined whilst you've been working on this problem?
I
well, a
think-
couple of options. But yeah, go ahead, Zartan. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think we're going to, since we've been here for a number of days, we may have been trying other spells out. So like, I could be trying stone shape, or Kuntz could actually have detect magic, do detect magic on it, and this type of thing.
No, so in this case, essentially, Logic has just brought this up to you now. So if you want to get into this door, it's going to have to be today. So there's no time to like rest and recover new spells and so forth. Yeah, now is the time.
So we can. So we're basically there's a door we can't get past physically.
No, I didn't say you can't
Well, it
physically
says
get past it.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
asked-
Logic had been trying to like get it open all week, and he was unsuccessful. But
Can Fisk just like tear it off?
you could try to just
Well,
see
just-
like if your brute strength is enough to like rip this thing open, and multiple people can join into this if they want.
I mean, I can also cast damaging magic at it, like go into fireball or
Oh,
blow it open.
A fireball would have terrible
Why be down the hall?
consequences for everybody in the room. Yeah. It would,
Sorry, I don't have fireball. I took lightning bolt instead this time, but we could
Okay.
set
yeah. I
lightning
don't.
strike.
I don't. let's
Well,
not
so
do
the
that.
door is like
So,
a
how
solid
about
slab of
Fisk?
bronze. So yeah, and Fisk is just hanging around with you guys. During the
Can we
week,
tie anything to the door, like
We-
a rope or a chain?
it has like like a essentially a big handle into it, like sort of a lever handle that turns down and then a lock under it.
Because we could tie.
So there
Fisk
is a
to the
locking
door
mechanism.
and
Mhm.
sort of use them like a bulldozer.
There
to
is a
man the
locking
door.
mechanism.
But I mean, I'm assuming in the 6 days or whatever that I've tried to
yeah,
be
you
selfish
tried-
about the treasure, that I've tried it.
Yeah, you tried everything to get into the door. You could not pick the lock. You couldn't work it open with wedges. You couldn't crowbar it open. You like
None of
after
the
a while, you
keys we
stopped
found
because you were
worked.
worried you were going to break off this sort of turning lever.
Maybe for
Maybe
6
this is a little bit
days-
out of. Maybe this is a little bit out of character, but it's a question about the Worth guys. Are those the Legion guys that collect the skulls?
The worth.
So
are
would
the
we know-
Legionnaires that collect the skulls?
Okay, would we know? Would it be reasonable for us to know? Well, for cunts to know that it's worth or whatever, first of all, and for us to know about their skull collection as part of the magic of their
So,
You know, volcano
like,
god.
from what you understand, the skull collection is just basically just sacrifices to Earthworth. They're the demon that lives under the mountain. So these guys worship essentially a volcano god, who, as far as like everywhere else, they talk about him as essentially a demon that's imprisoned under this mountain. But to them, it's a fiery savior that will cleanse the land and make it new again, and then a Worth dominion will sweep over everything.
Does Kunz recognize that it is Worth script, even if he can't read it?
He recognizes that it's Worth script. He has not tried to read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh.
try and read it
Okay.
with my eyeballs.
Okay. So Kuntz, you get up close to the door and take a better look in the torchlight at the runes there. Okay. So you are able to make out something here about there's the name of some sort of Worth person, and it says something about the number of people that they have killed. And then you don't know how to read Worth numbers, but you notice that there are a lot of scratches after that.
Symbols. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it seems like somebody who killed a lot of people did something here or was somehow related, but you do not understand this language. You're basically just trying to like puzzle it out based on the little tidbits that you've seen in scrolls and arcane writings and so forth. Also, Kunz, as you stand in front of the door, you feel like a slight draft coming from the edges of the door. Yeah, just like a little breeze is blowing. You like run your hand over sort of the seam of the door and feel like a little wind blowing at you.
So that must mean there's an alternate opening, maybe like a skylight or a window. Or can we quickly check around the castle or fortress to see if there's an alternate way in here?
So you've looked at this and it looks like it's just directly into the side of the mountain. That is on the, I want to say, northern side of Gatemouth Keep.
Okay. So how about the idea of using Fisk as like a little bulldozer and he pulls the door away?
Yeah, you could definitely hook a rope up to him or something like that
Try
and
that
try to
out
like
there,
yank
Angie.
the door off.
Let's do it.
Well, we can all combine our efforts.
Yeah.
Maybe not
We'll help
maybe
him.
not Zartet, but we can all get behind the bear or something and combine in,
Okay.
in second edition. That's the way it works.
Who's
with
going to
multiple
try
people.
and are you going to try and all pull your strength first, or are you going to try and hook up a rope to Fisk first, or are you just going to try the door yourself?
Well, I think if I remember, Fisk
Um,
weighs 450 pounds. We might as well see if just Fisk can open it up.
Okay.
And then if he can't, then we'll help him out.
Okay, who is
What?
tethering up the bear?
I
I
am.
will.
Okay.
Angie is.
Yeah,
All right,
Angie
so
is.
Angie, you tie a stout rope around Fisk, and the whole week that you have been here at the castle, you and the bear have been developing your camaraderie. He's starting to understand more and more of you want. more and more of what you want, and you've been motivating him just by giving him food. So he's
Oh, yeah.
just for like half of a biscuit, he's happy to pull anything all day long. So you essentially work up a makeshift harness around him. So Kuntz, you go to tie the other end to this handle there, and as you do, the door comes wide open. Like as you're tying it there, the door creaks directly open.
I
And,
knew it. I was
swings
going to
into the
say
room.
before, Logic probably spent 6 days trying to push the door open, and he just had to pull it.
So Logic,
And
you
it's just a lock.
definitely tried opening this door previously. Like you, nobody had tried opening it today, but definitely you have tried to open this guy, and it was definitely locked prior to this.
Oh. So I'm going to back away.
Can
from
I
the
hear
door just in
anything?
case, there's traps.
Can I hear anything from behind the door?
Right now, you hear a bear kind of just like ready to go, trying to pull at the door, and Angie is like, no, stop. She's trying to explain to him because he's in danger of like ripping the door right off of its hinges. So she has to stop him there.
Okay, I'm gonna get away from the door.
As the door swings open, you start to smell the scent of decay wafting up to you, and salty air. So it's almost like an ocean smell, but is like a deeper rot than just like the beach. It reminds you a little bit of the foul smell when you spent the night that you guys met Vicinthus the Winged. Just all the dead fish that had washed up on the beach there. That sort of, and you're starting to recognize the smell of the red rot. So something down there is definitely corrupted.
Wonderful.
Who wants to go first?
So yeah, the door just swung
Guess I'll
open.
go first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna once everything settles down and we all kind of chill and we're all just sitting there in the darkness staring at each other. I'm gonna listen down the tunnel.
Okay. So you listen down in the tunnel, and you can hear very far off the sound of the ocean. And for a second, that's all you can really hear. But then you hear sort of like a high-pitched chittering sound off, like very distant, and then the sounds of two things squeaking at each other.
Big things
Okay.
or small things?
Well, I'm gonna tell them what I hear.
They can't really. It's very difficult to tell under the sound of the ocean there.
You say something.
I guess you guys ready to go?
Angie, doesn't that sound like your dream?
Oh my god, is it
No, it sounds more like rats to you than bears there. It does not sound like bear cubs. Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean, weren't like both dreams kind of about the cave?
Yeah,
Yeah,
both
well,
of your
mine-
dreams took place like in darkness like this.
Let's do it.
yes, let's go.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
It's completely
the red
dark
rain
down
is
there.
coming.
So if you want to see anything, you'll have to bring the torches that you have here. You may want to lay in a supply of them, depending on how long you want to be down there. So I need to know if you're... so as you peer down the door, there's a hallway cut directly into the rock, and then stairs leading down. And as soon as you you open the door and get in, then you can see that there is a like very old accumulation of essentially salt on the floor. There's like just salt, and then there are footsteps leading through the dust and salt down to the way. So you can see that those are going there, whereas inside the room in the dust, there were barely any footprints at all. Like no person could have passed this way, leaving leaving footprints like that. But as soon as whatever went that way got into this cave where the floor has like sort of salt crystals and dust built up from a long time, they started walking normally.
Wait, so let me get this right. I'm sorry. Let me just throw. restate this.
Yep.
What were we gonna say, Angie? Sorry.
Can we tell what kind of tracks they are?
Yeah, they look like human tracks for the most part on this side, but on the other side, it was like as if something was like skimming just over the top of the dust.
Oh, kind of like what I saw in around the door.
Yeah, this is what you noticed in the door. Just that sort of faint disturbance over that, almost as if something was not quite touching the ground as it was moving over it.
Mhm.
Maybe we should follow the footprints in case there's traps and it's like we have to step in the same spot to basically ensure we don't trigger any floor traps.
Mhm.
So sorry, just to clear up my own confusion here. On the side inside the keep where we were is where something was skimming the top, and on the other side in the salt, they're just normal. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Very interesting. Why would that?
Isn't there a spell called Featherfoot or something?
There's no feather
Fall.
foot.
Featherfall. Oh, that's right.
There's
yeah.
feather fall. Yeah. There's no feather foot. But this could definitely be the work of a magician.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you thought a room was trapped or might be trapped, and it's like obviously the second thing that stepped through maybe just wanted to follow the footsteps of the first thing, just to be safe, extra safe. Oh, the glitch has awoken.
Oh no.
Or what I'm thinking is that there was somebody watching us who was going through this doorway invisibly or something, and I was just too stupid to notice it. And you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was invisible, and it's just been watching us and coming in and out of the fucking door because the footprints were over mine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So you
is
guys
there any...
do keep a watch at night, essentially. Like you all sleep in the same room with the bear, and you keep a watch rotation just so that nothing can surprise you in the night. And so nobody has heard anything any night out of the ordinary, but it's an old creaky keep, so nobody's 100% sure whether something was sneaking around or not.
Okay, so we're like past the door in kind of the foyer of the
New
before
room.
the landing of the downstairs into this cave.
Well,
There's no light in here. We have torches.
we need
Is
to
there
we need
any-
to
Sorry, one last thing. Is there any dust like that? I know there's like salt deposits on the ground. Is there any like dust that could be picked up or anything like that?
Dust that could be picked up. Like if you want to bend down and scrape at the floor, you can find like sand and salt. It looks like at some
Yeah.
point water flooded almost all the way up here and left behind like salt.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just gonna pick up a handful of sand or whatever's on the ground.
Yeah, you can easily like bend down and pick up like a little bit of sand.
And I'm gonna just like sprinkle it like in a circle around me as hard as I could, just to see if anything it bounces off anything invisible or anything.
Oh,
like that.
I
interesting.
think the
Yeah, so you can easily throw a handful of sand, and it doesn't bounce off of anything that's invisible.
pocket sand.
Damn it.
But yeah,
you guys think that maybe the tide comes up every night, lifting?
That's
and
what I
then
was thinking
going
exactly,
down
yeah.
and then leaving behind some deposit.
Well, we
Okay,
do
so we
know
can-
that
so
the
let-
Darameus
hold on,
does
this is a-
so.
This is a Zartet and Angie type question. So this is a little high for the sea level to be here, but at some point there might have been a flood or something, like an exceptionally high tide. This would be, or maybe a hurricane or a typhoon or what have you. At some
Is
point,
the-
sea level was really high and flooded here, but this looks old, like nothing has been here in a while.
This is the rock on the other side of the door the same as the rock on the inside of the door?
So the door is actually set against the wall. It's like flush against the wall, and then it's been at some point it was bricked over, and then Logic, your estimation is that maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, somebody came in here and broke open the bricks, And then at some point, like on the other side, there is just one set of footsteps going through all the sand and dust and so forth. So potentially, like you guys just went through a pretty big storm around the time of Wabigo, like the trip and the fight with those guys. There was a huge storm there. It's possible that what you're looking at is the remnants of like storm surge from that made its way up to here, flooded through there, couldn't get through the door, and left behind this deposit of salt. And at some point, so that narrows it down a little bit, as these tracks were probably left at some point after you guys made your way to the. But the ones that you're seeing now, these are fresh. This is like Angie, you're able to tell that these tracks were probably left last night, just from the freshness.
Ah.
Wait. Okay. I'm still confused then. So the old tracks on the inside were left.
According to Angie, the tracks inside this thing are so fresh that they probably happened last night or yesterday.
Sorry, when I'm saying inside, I mean on the inside of the keep, not on the inside of the door. I'm saying on our side, not in the salt side.
Okay.
So like on the salt side, what's the difference in the age there?
Okay. Well, here's what you can tell just from looking at this whole thing. So on your side of the keep, Logic's tracks, you were in here yesterday, like yesterday night, fucking with this door, and finally you gave up, and you're like, all right, I have to ask other people. I can't just steal all the treasure myself. The disturbance over that has to have happened since you left here last night. When Angie looks at the tracks in the salt and dust on the other side of the door, she thinks that these are fresh within a day.
That's my question. And so just to reiterate, that on where I've been trying side, the keep side, those footprints.
Yeah, they're not footprints. Your footprints are recent.
They're your footprints.
Yes. The disturbance is over your footprints, right? So
and the disturbance is newer than that. So like last night.
Probably
okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of let's make sure that they're made approximately at the same time, because maybe there's some time shifting involved or some shit. Sorry, man.
So the party has been standing outside this door for like half an hour looking at dust. Right looking there.
Cross-eyed at
They've made no progress whatsoever.
Footprints in the dust.
There, yeah. There's dust in the floor. But you're very learned about the dust content of this floor.
Okay, well, we should gear up, stock up. We should rest up, and then we should go down.
Well, everybody is at full health and rested. You can take some additional torches and stuff. Angie, what have you got?
Arrows.
How many arrows can I reasonably carry?
500 million.
It's reasonable to carry about 30 in a quiver. More than 30 is just it's just too heavy. Yeah. And you have been able to dry out your bow, so you were back up and running. And essentially, like any other, who still has a ranged weapon? Logic?
I traded my crossbow for a bow in the keep.
Okay, who has the crossbow?
I dropped the crossbow.
No, you dropped the
crossbow? Because I
crossbow?
don't want to spend a round reloading it.
Okay, so you swapped up to just a bow, so you also are well provisioned with arrows, so both of you have bows. Okay, so have you decided that you want to foray down into the seaside thing there? And you know what order you're going in and how you're proceeding, and whether you're bringing a torch or trying to sneak down in darkness.
We're bringing a supply of torches and things just in case.
So real quick, since we're provisioning ourselves at this point, our last kind of off-screen session, you said Kuntz could craft a potion.
If he wanted to, yeah, but he would have done that before now. So
I do have a potion, and I'm saving it for the next.
Okay,
I see.
Next week.
What potion did you make?
I'm 100% sure it was water breathing.
Okay,
Water breathing.
Yeah, water breathing is a good choice.
So
fuck?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, there's no water to breathe
Listen,
down there,
and
as far as you can tell.
One person
Well-
could use the
Are you guys
potion,
hoping I had
or-
like a potion of what's down the stairs?
Yeah, water breathing is for one person only.
Okay.
No, this spell is for multiple people, but it cuts the duration in half.
Well, only
Well,
one person.
Yeah,
so we
the
can sway
spell
with
is, but
durations.
the potion is just one person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you all fucked.
It's okay.
That's fine.
Does Fisk seem like weirded out about it at all?
He's like kind
go
of like
down there?
snuffling around. You get the feeling that he wanted to like rip open the door and is disappointed that he didn't get to, because he spent all this time like tying a rope around him and everything. You could send him first if you want. Like you now have enough command over Fisk that you can do things like have him march ahead of you, etc.
I just don't know if he has like a weird feeling about it because I don't know what the vibes are. Like if it's like
The bear is pretty laid back in general. He is not easy to. Yeah, he's not. This is not a jumpy bear. So he would be like a terrible guard bear. He really does not give a fuck most of the time, unless it's something he can eat, and then he's very interested.
How about I cast improved invisibility on the person with the most hit points, and they go first, sort of ahead, and that way they can like maybe logic sneaking and invisible. That should be a pretty good thing.
Yeah, if he's invisible. So the
I would
thing,
totally do that.
like
Yeah.
one issue that you have here, is that it is pitch black in this cave. Right, you cannot see anything, and there are steps leading down, cut into the cave. Now, Logic can go and be invisible, but he will have no source of light. And
Well, if we
like,
What
if we walk 25 to 50 yards
Right.
behind him with torches, he can have
Mhm.
some light.
that's true, but he'll be beholden to your light source moving forward. If he's carrying a light source, it will spoil the invisibility.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
That's fine. I'll do that. I'll try to maintain. I'll try to stay in front of them far enough to
Like,
scout,
he just
but
needs
also
enough light to not trip and fall and hurt himself or whatever.
Okay. So that's the game plan. Logic is going to go ahead. What's
So-
the
Yes, sir.
marching order after that? Who's going in what order?
I'm gonna cast then improved invisibility on Logic.
Okay.
It
So Logic,
lasts
you
for-
become invisible.
what's the difference?
Improved
what's the
invisibility, you can
difference between-
attack without
you
breaking
can do
invisibility.
I'll go second.
However, Logic, when you attack people, because you are not used to fighting while you're invisible, your attacks are at a penalty. And just it is weird to move and attack things while you're invisible. You're used to seeing your
Totally.
hands, but you also have done some sword fighting in the dark in a different way. So you have some ability to go through. Angie, what were you saying?
I could go second with, like, if Logic wants to scout ahead, I could go second with
Alright.
the torch, so like some light is
So
being
Zartet
shown.
is bringing the torch, and then Angie, Kuntz, and Fisk. Where are you three?
I'm basically carrying a torch. I'm gonna basically be with Zartet and Angie and
Okay.
Fisk.
I just need to know the order that you're going in case something
Yeah,
attacks.
'cause
I'll
it's just
have
the
Fisk be
narrow
last.
kind of thing.
Go
Okay,
first.
you're
I'll
going to be
be-
last, and where is
I'll be
Fisk?
first in the
Well,
group
no,
of
Fisk.
us.
Fisk is last.
Fisk is last, then me, then Kuntz.
Okay.
No, I'll
Yeah.
go first. I got 35 hit points.
Okay.
I'm a fucking big boy.
Oh,
Well,
I wanna
Logic's
make sure-
invisible, so he's scouting ahead. So he's.
It is true, but Zartet, if possible, maybe we could have two torches together, and if we hit the shit on the way down, you can throw a torch down the tunnel, just to get a light source down the tunnel. Okay.
all
I
right.
kind of have a feeling Zartet should go after Logic.
Okay, doesn't really matter.
so Logic,
I-
Kuntz, then me.
Okay.
No.
Logic.
Sorry,
Logic.
it's,
So what
Who?
what I understand, Logic is creeping ahead. Zartet is following after him, carrying a torch. Then Kuntz is with Zartet, moving ahead, and bringing up the rear with the bow is Angie, and following behind her is Fisk the bear with the rear guard. All right.
Okay.
So the four of you start to creep down the tunnel, moving very slowly, but aware that the light that you guys show will give you away if anything is down here that has eyes. So it's truly time. It's hilarious. So You begin to creep down this tunnel. So, Logic, you're seeing that this is an old tunnel that has been hewn into rock. And along the way, you start to see very rusted and corroded bars that are driven into the wall. So in this sort of grotto of natural rock, you can see places where there are essentially jail cells. And as the light flickers over them, you can see places where there are skeletons inside of some of these jail cells. Like at some point, this was a dungeon, and then somebody stopped feeding these people. So the path starts to curve around and move down sort of in a spiral down towards sort of at the bottom of this whole thing. You can see that there is a pool of water at the very bottom. And so this whole thing kind of curves around in a ring and then down to a ramp that goes into a pool of what looks like seawater. Along the way, you can see a bunch of cells sort of creeping one by one, and the sort of weird chittering sound starts to get like a little louder, and you can hear splashing in the pool below, but the torches are not close enough for you to see what's happening. And as you're sort of creeping along, you start to hear voices loudly arguing. So the four of you are trying as hard as you can to be silent. Let me see. So Logic, what is your move silently percentage right now?
My move silent at this time is 85%.
Okay.
I'm pretty proud of it.
So, and then let's see. The other part of it is that you have a bear following after you. So bears are not.
But it's a very silent bear.
So bears are not like super loud all the time. They do have pads on their feet, but those footsteps are kind of unmistakable. So Logic, as you're moving forward, you can hear the sound of somebody demanding, what you hear is, "Tell me how to control it." That's the one sentence that you hear, and then ahead you can see a figure hear the sound of bears, or like a whole party of people moving towards him, and then it shuts up. So the lights are getting closer to you. You don't have a way to like call back to everybody. So as the lights start to illuminate, you see a hooded figure that is in front of one of the cells.
Okay.
And as you're moving towards it, he turns.
Do you think this is the warlock with the goblet? Could be.
Well,
At this point, as he's
yeah,
turning
we're-
around here, Logic, you have
Mhm.
seen this guy twice before, and you do recognize the warlock that initially attacked you with the Legion, and probably the one that made off with the goblet and everything. You are still invisible. You don't think he has seen you yet.
I'm gonna creep closer to him with my falcon dagger at the ready, and I'm not going to attack him quite yet, but I'm going to. It will take no time at all. So I'm gonna do like a wait essentially while creeping closer to him, ready to shiv the shit out of this guy.
Okay.
With
So
my
as you get closer to him, you notice sort of at the back of his cloak, there are just inhuman rises there, where essentially he grew wings in order to elude all of you. So he is wheeled around towards the direction of the party right there, but you can see that he can't see you at all, but he never could have seen you there. In fact, he was unable to see the torchlight coming through, and he didn't hear the sound of the door open, because he's blind. As he looks up, he like orients his face in the direction that you came in because he can hear.
Oh shit!
But his eyes are completely melted open. It just looks like his face was doused in acid at some point. So this is your first good look at this guy, and you can see that he truly is blind.
Who is around him? Who is behind him? He's going to hear everything.
He can hear everything that's happening. So the torchlight is getting closer. He was talking to something in this cell, but you cannot see inside of the cell with the light that's available right now.
How far away from him am I?
You have crept up to within about 20 feet of him right here, and he has begun casting a spell in the direction.
I am going to attack him.
Okay. So how are you going to attack him?
I am going to backstab him with my Falcon Raptor dagger.
Okay. So you want to dash behind him and then try to stab him in the back, right?
Yes.
Okay. So while he can't see shit, he does have a very keen sense of hearing. And so as you try to how are you moving closer to this guy? Are you dashing? Are you sneaking? How are you trying to get
No, yeah, but I'm as the party's coming down and as I'm creeping up on him. I'm not going to just immediately dash at him until I can get within striking distance of him.
Let's see if you can fool the blind man here. So he's so focused on his chanting and the spell that he's trying to get off that he does not notice you creep around him and take your newly stolen blade and just ram it into his back. You try to stab him in the spine, but you can feel it like glinting off of bone there, and you sink it in deep. So the spell that he's casting is interrupted midway, and he lurches forward. You have dealt him a grievous blow.
At the same time, I'm going to yell back to the other guys, wizard.
Okay. So he is actually lurching forward with the force of your blow and towards the sort of the edge of the ramp, because essentially like these cells are in a spiral, right? There's a ramp going down towards the pool, and he lurches towards the pool, clutching his chest, and pitches over the side. You hear a splash as he falls into... Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You hear a splash as he falls over the edge into the water below. And then the like sort of chittering and hissing and everything goes wild. And you can hear the sound of splashing and everything below. So all of you guys hear Logic shout like wizard. And then you hear somebody crashing into the water, and then whatever's happening down there is going absolutely crazy.
Is Logic still invisible, or
Logic is still invisible? It's improved invisibility, so it does not go away after he stabs somebody.
Okay. Well, I rush over. I'm second in line, so I'm rushing.
So you're running up. You're running up with the torch, and as you do, you can see a shadow inside of the cell behind these bars there, and then you can either take a closer look at what's in the cell, or you can lean over the edge and see what's happening in the dark pool below.
Which takes my eye first? Like, I assume.
I would assume a loud noise is from the pool.
Yeah, it's up to you. You get to decide what you want to investigate first. But you're the first of the scene, so it's one or the other. Whatever you think is more important to take a look at.
Well, yeah, I guess the most obvious thing would be to look over the side with the torch and see if I could see what's...
So you lean over the side with the torch, and what you see below is sort of like a pandemonium of rats, just like in the water, swimming every which way. There are tails
Piranha
all over the
rats.
place. It is really just like a warren of rats swimming in the seawater. And immediately, you start to see some of the rats have like more tails than they should. One has like 3 tails. You see the signs of the corruption that overtook some of these other things. Like some of them have scales, some of them have too many eyes, but they're all moving around and thrashing too fast to see. And then, so at this point, Kuntz, you have come over. You're over the edge with the torch too, so you can see what's happening as well. And then Angie, you're bringing up the rear. You can, if you want, like sort of lean over the edge with a bow, but it's unclear
Huh.
what shooting with a bow would do. You do not see any sign of the warlock, but so as the 3 of you.
Did Logic lose his dagger? Because it's still in the guy's
No,
back.
no. He that's rule number 1 of backstabbing people. Don't let go of the dagger. So he maintained it
And
right there.
Yeah.
So
I even considered like grabbing that guy before he fell over the edge.
you would have had to make a roll for it, but you were kind of taken by surprise. Just essentially, you're not used to stabbing people while you're invisible. So a little off your game there, but a grievous blow dealt to this guy. And one thing you noticed as he was moving around, he is damaged, right? Just by his motions. I didn't say it at the time, but as he's moving around, that guy has not just sloughed off all the damage that you have done to him. His motions are very pained, and that's one of the reasons why you were able to get around him so quickly. He's just suffered, you hit him in the stomach with a dagger. You shot him through the chest with a crossbow bolt.
He does not like me.
Yeah, you really have been the ruin of this guy. But nothing seems to slay him. So, Logic, you're a little distracted because the dagger has it's gotten warm in your hand. Warmer than just I just stabbed somebody, the like adrenaline rush and so forth. It feels warmer than normal. So you're a little distracted by this as the 3 of you are leaning over the edge. So you just see this fracas of writhing. It's just like there must be 1,000 sea rats down there, just thrashing and fighting and frenzying. The water is like sort of a churning, bloody mess. So
What's going on in this?
Zartet, Kuntz, and Angie, each of you has a chance to do something.
Well, once I'm done looking over the edge and seeing that,
Mhm.
I guess I'd turn around and see what that thing in the cell was.
Okay,
That he was talking to.
In the cell, you see what looks like a corpse, essentially sitting with its back against the wall. It's not moving. Then Kuntz, you and Angie have a chance to do something if you want to.
I have nothing to do. I don't.
You have nothing to do. You're just watching the rats go crazy. All right, Angie, you can do
watch
anything
that
if you
go
want to.
crazy.
You can see Fisk like kind of like looking over, and just his ears are back. He does not like the smell of whatever's happening over here.
All right, I'm gonna calm him down.
Okay.
And just chill.
So the next thing that you guys hear is just sort of a crackling sound in the air, and then all of a sudden, all of the there's just like sort of a snapping, crackling sound in the air, a flash of red light, and then all those rats are dead. Like all at once, all the chittering and everything stops, and then one by one, the sea rats start to float up to the surface of the pool, and every single one of them is dead. It's like a carpet of bodies floating at the top of this pool.
You said it was like a flash of red light?
Flash of red light, yeah.
Okay.
Does Kunst, do you recognize that spell?
I do not recognize that
No,
spell.
this is not the typical magic that you've seen before, but it reminds you a lot of sort of the life-stealing attack that he did previously, where he
Oh, shit.
where he like sapped
Hmm.
all the energy from his own legionnaires and the sheep and everything.
So he just got 1,000 hit points or something.
Essentially.
It's like 1,000.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
I'll get him one
so
day.
the water is completely still now, just kind of swaying a little bit, but yeah, the pool is completely dark except for so many mutated dead rats down there.
Is the jail cell with the corpse closed?
So the
The
door
box
is
closed.
locked.
Okay.
Do you guys want to spend 30 minutes trying to get it open?
Sure. I mean, I can open this door.
Okay, so Logic, you can attempt if you want to go in and take a better look at this, and this corpse is desiccated. It's just whatever
Well,
happened here. This thing starved to death because it is just barely skin and bones.
We
Does the guy
loot the
well,
corpse?
okay. Hold on. Hold on. Like, the first concern is security. So, have we explored all the way down the spiral to the? Are we at the bottom of the spiral? By the
So
pool?
there
there
are like 2 or 3 more cells leading down to the pool there, and then it almost looks like a jetty for boats here, but at the bottom, water goes right up to the bottom of the ramp.
Okay.
But right now,
Okay.
by the way, the tide is up, so it's possible that
Okay.
there's like a different situation here in these cells, and indeed, you notice that one of the cells is like halfway submerged with the tide. So
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep my eyes on the cells for any treasure or anything cool.
okay, like
Or
so far
not
you've just
cool,
seen
but,
skeletons up the way. Like they really have very little in the way of there. The main one of interest to you is this one that. So the other ones are skeletons, but this corpse has it still has skin on it. It's bald.
Okay.
And just completely emaciated, but it must be fresher than the others because it's not a skeleton.
Are these cells? I mean, are they normal sort of dungeon cells, or
Yeah.
Maybe do our casters see any kind of magic on the cells?
Well, none of
or,
them
you
none
know-
of them can detect magic, but they do.
We're
It does
special.
seem like this is just these are just prison cells here, and kind of horrific because you can see that some of the cells are set up so that as the tide rises, it will flood the cells. So
Oh,
Right.
yeah. In
Roger.
fact, the one that's lowest, you guys, the tide is not even fully up yet. So you think that by the time it rises completely, the cell, so the cell that's like closest will be almost completely flooded, and then the next one up will be like almost neck deep there.
well, yeah. I'll go at the lock.
What's your pick locks?
I have 70%.
Okay, so this lock is a little bit difficult, just because it's so corroded and rusty. But if you really had to get in here, you think that you could just pry these bars apart. With a little bit of teasing and applying a little bit of oil, you're able to pop this lock open, and the door creaks open, and then the nothing is happening inside of the cell.
Well, my job is done here, and I don't know anything about desiccated corpses.
Well, I'm gonna walk up to the corpse with the torch and
Okay.
kind of hold it up to its face, try to
Put a
see
weapon
what
out
I
just
could,
in case, Sartat.
what I could see on this guy.
Okay. As you walk up to the corpse, its eyes open.
What the
Right.
Told you.
Yeah.
Told you to have a weapon out.
Yeah. Its eyes open, and it looks at you, and you realize that it is not a corpse. This is one of the most tortured-looking human beings that you have ever seen in your life. There is not an ounce of spare flesh on him. You can see like very distinctly the knobs of its joints. You can count almost every bone in its body. It really is
does
just.
he speak incoherently and sort of stutter a lot?
It hasn't spoken at all. It just opened its
Okay.
eyes and it looked at Zarted.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm like startled.
Yeah.
I'm taken aback and may yelp a little bit.
Yeah, I think that definitely occurs. But the very desiccated man looks at you, and it seems to be summoning the energy to speak. And the first word that it says, and it takes a long time for it to make this sound. It's very drawn out, and it's using all of its energy. It says water.
Come on, give him water.
No.
Yeah, I'll take my water skin out.
Okay.
And
I'll be right back. I gotta close my window.
Okay. Let's
Seems like
take
he's asking
5
for water.
right here while he's closing his window. And then
Perfect.
we'll
My
get to
balls
the
are floating.
Good luck.
Tide is high.
We'll find out what's up with this desiccated corpse.
He's desiccated.
He is. Well, I'm figuring Goodberry's in order. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
always with the good berries.
Are you guys doing a break?
Yeah, for like 5
We
minutes.
are.
Oh, I just got that.
BRB.
Oh, look at Puppy. Oh. A little dog is my favorite. Check out little Puppy here.
Puppy.
Like faithfully waiting.
What's up, puppy? Does not even care about what's going on the TV.
No. This is like every day at Kuntz's house. This is all that goes on. The cat's like, no.
Oh, that cat ain't saying no to anything.
Whoa, fuck. Oh.
Oh.
Look at him go. You can do it, Mila. You can do it.
Is Milo
There we
getting
go.
a treat?
Yeah. It looks like they're getting carrots.
Yeah, carrots.
Yeah.
They were
Dogs fucking
piling
love
his
carrots.
litter.
Yeah.
They do like.
Yeah. Are they gonna meet Dankula's dog?
I know.
There's carrots everywhere now.
Could be worse.
All right. All right. So when last we left, the corpses open his eyes, and then Zartet, you give it a drink. Just careful. Just because you have never seen a human being look this fragile before. So it is able to drink just a tiny bit of this water, and then it just even like very carefully trying to give it water, it can only take a tiny bit, and then water starts to flow out of its mouth, and then you pull back. It's like so ruined that you can barely tell whether it's a man or a woman, and only like when the torches are brought over that this was a man, but there's almost nothing left of him there. So after that, you wait like a few minutes for him to say something else, and the next thing that it says is more, and you give it more water, and you start to see it almost coming to life. It's like almost like watering a dead plant. Like the desiccated man starts to lift its head and like look around the room, and it's looking at each of you. It doesn't seem confused, but just sort of taking in the sight of the four of you. It's not asking any questions or anything. Just kind of staring. This being has suffered immensely for a long, long time.
Hello,
Would,
sir or ma'am.
Greetings.
Would giving him a good berry be like kind of too much right now for him? Would I know that?
No, like you could try, definitely. But as you're trying to figure out whatever, the guy says, and he has like a very strange accent. It's difficult to place it, but he says Ripter, he's still alive. And then when you don't understand what he's saying, he points back that way, towards the pool, and he says, I can feel him.
So Riptor might be the warlock, or it might be some sort of water creature or sea creature.
And this is a spellcaster or something.
Maybe you should give him a good berry, Zartet.
I ask him, was Riptor the one he was talking to?
He says, I wasn't talking to him. He was talking to me.
Okay.
And
Do you have a heal spell? Can you cast heal on this guy?
I do?
So heal only works
I think it's
on
worth it.
Heal only works on injuries. It does not recover people who are
Oh.
starving to death.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
heal is-
gonna,
heal
But a
is
good
about-
berry does.
A
We
good
could
berry would
sell him some food.
sell him some food. The guy
How much you got?
so he's
Yeah.
literally at some point this guy had a loincloth, but all that's left is just like very threadbare, nothing. There is nothing of value in this cell.
Now
He
this
has
guy's a
literally nothing to his name.
Not only is this guy a spellcaster, but he is he thinks he is in a better position than Riptor.
Okay, so I have 2 food rations according to my
Mhm.
character sheet.
Everybody
I'll
should be considered to
a
have
little bit
like
of food.
ample food that you've been able to plunder from the keep to last for the
And
duration.
and a supply of good berries or whatever.
I give the gentleman small carrot treats.
Okay. He as
You can
you're
get tricks first, okay?
as you're like yeah, you want a cracker or whatever. One of those skinny hands reach up and grabs your wrist with surprising strength, and
Uh-oh.
just pulls it away. And his eyes are suddenly like very angry, looking at you, and he says, "I'm not a child. I can feed myself."
Okay.
But yeah, he's like he is staring hard at you, Cons. He did not like that one bit.
He doesn't like my carrots?
I told you.
No, he doesn't like the carrot treat.
As friends.
So the
Did we give him a good berry or
we
not?
did not give him a good berry yet.
Guys, why not? What in the
Yeah,
fuck? I mean,
but
He's
I will
making
give
up
him
his
one of
mind.
mine.
I haven't had a moment to do it. No.
Yeah. Like you can if you'd
But
like.
we haven't been creating good berries this whole time
No.
in a stockpile.
You can't really stockpile good berries. Like they're not stockpiled.
Okay.
Yeah. They're
It's
very
at
much
least
in the
worth
moment type thing.
100% do it. And
Yeah.
I say this to you: give him a good berry.
Okay. I cast Goodberry.
Okay. So you cast Goodberry and enchant a handful of berries, and offer him one,
How many?
and he takes it gladly. You offer him as many as he wants, but he says one is enough. And then he puts the Goodberry in his mouth and starts to like very, very slowly chew it. And
How many did I
You sh-
create, just for the record?
how many?
Yeah.
What's it? It's like 2d4.
Yeah, 2d4.
Okay. So you cast the spell, and you created 5 good berries. So one of which you just gave to him. So he just starts to. You have never seen somebody take so long to eat a good berry with considerable relish, and at the end he says, "Thank you." And to your surprise, he stands up. So he's been sitting cross-legged this entire time, and he looks down at himself almost as if he's astonished at the runes of his body. And he says, "Thank you. I've been here a long, long time." And it almost seems like more than a human can take. And he just painfully, like every step hurts him, he walks over to the edge of the lip of the ramp and looks down at all the dead rats and into the darkness. He asks you to bring over a torch so that he can see. And he squints down into there, and then he shakes his head, and he says he got away again. And then so he tells you that he has been a prisoner here in this dungeon for, and he like stops, and he asks what year it is, and when you tell him, he says that he's been here for almost 80 years, locked in this
Jeez.
dungeon, so he says that he knows Riptor, the warlock, and that he just showed up just a few minutes before you arrived, and was asking him questions. So it seems like you guys just showed up right on the heels of this magician, and so he introduces himself as Crozius, and says that he, when he says the name Zartet, you recognize this as a very high-ranking druid who disappeared
I knew it.
some almost a century ago. And when
I knew it.
when you find out that he's a druid, and he observed you, casting your spell and everything, but didn't say anything, But when he says his name, you know immediately who it is, and you realize that he has used sort of his druidic abilities to stay in a state of near stasis for, if he's to be believed, almost 80 years locked in this prison.
Crozius. I've
Yes.
heard of you. You've been here 80 years since you disappeared so long ago. That's how long
You've only heard stories about him, and he seems surprised. He's like, I'm surprised that anybody remembers me.
Well, I'm of the path, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah, he's. I know. He does not. He seems unimpressed by you, to tell you the truth. Just in the way that very, very old people who are not impressed by young people, but at the same time, he says, like, if Riptor is here and demanding to know how to control it, what's happening outside? And
what is it?
Yeah, control what? What did he do? What was he
like,
trying to control?
Tell me everything that you know, and I'll try to explain. And so if you want, you can give him a rundown of everything that's going on, or you can hold back and try to extract information from him first.
I'm gonna give him one of my meals that I prepared and water while he's.
He takes the water
while
gladly, but he says that if I try to eat now, he's like, it's going to take a long time to build back up. And Zartet, you know, as a healer, that he's absolutely right. Like any like solid food would almost be a shock to his system. Probably the only thing that he can stomach is the good berry. But he does.
I'll get Riptor next time.
You can see that his color is starting to improve almost immediately from the power of the good berry there.
What kind of reputation did he have before he went missing? Do I know that?
He was a little bit strange and tended to move in darker circles among the druids, like somebody who delved deeper into forbidden knowledge than most people would feel comfortable with. And indeed, his disappearance is like, often you've heard it as a cautionary tale. When a few times with your mentor, when you were delving down paths that most people would consider forbidden, he warns you, like, you remember what happened to Crozius, but you never heard what happened to him. But this is indeed the fabled Crozius. The aura, even as a almost desiccated corpse, his aura of power is still there. He is not broken by his long imprisonment, but he's hurting for certain.
Well, I'll tell him kind of what's pertinent to, because the red rain's coming down on this keep, so
Okay.
he's probably not aware of that being in this dungeon. But I give him a high level rundown of that, but I do not mention the other druids we had met just yet.
Yeah. So as you explain what's happening to Moria, his face becomes troubled, and he's so wrinkled and wrecked that it's almost difficult to tell how deeply it's affecting him until he begins to cry. His tears begin as just like a very small amount of water accumulating at the corner of his eyes, but then they swiftly turn to blood, and 2 bloody tears run down the side of his face as he hears what has befallen Moria. And he tells you, so they finally done it, essentially. What's happened here is that for centuries, worse sorcerers have been trying to capture a comet that circles the Arc and flies past once every 37 years. He believes that this comet has the seed of something terrible in it. And they've been casting spells trying to pull it closer and closer and closer. And he says that he was one of the people who was thwarting them, hunting down their sorcerers and assassinating them and that there used to be a cabal of people dedicated to preventing the Worth from doing this. He says that the Worth have a prophecy that if the comet is brought down, then after the South burns, Earthworth will erupt, and Earthworth will be freed to ravage and burn across the land and bring on the great cleansing that is prophesied. And he says that from what you're describing, it sounds like they managed to bring down the comet. And you tell him about the red fire that you saw in the sky. So, yeah, he just
The
seems...
laughing star.
Do you want to tell him about what happened with the laughing star there? Is it
Well, I just say I interject like that. Oh, the laughing star. Because I'm what 20s, so I haven't been here since the last, so I don't know anything.
Yeah, well, he seems confused there. Yeah, the star that he pulled down is definitely not the laughing star.
Well, it's a new star.
But he says he seems like kind of weirded out by the fact that the laughing star is up in the. He does not react well to the name the laughing star when you say it. He seems against it. But it's very difficult to read his face because he's so ruined. And he has like blood at the corner of his eyes here. So he gets up and tries. He's like, if the star is in the sky now, I want to see it. And he tries to walk up the ramp. And he makes it about 6 steps. And then he has to stop.
Well, I'll
and
help
rest.
him, I guess.
And then he makes it like about 3 steps, and then he has to stop and rest. And when you go to his side to try and help him, he starts to try and push you away, but then he realizes that he is too weak to walk. And you can literally pick this guy up in one hand and carry him. Logic. He might weigh all of about 60 pounds right now.
Well, I mean, we can't show you that. I mean, it's literally raining acid rain.
Mm-hmm. He says,
so if we go all the way up there,
yeah,
you're not going to see anything.
He's like,
because we can't even get you outside.
At this point, he just wants to be out of the dungeon. He has no more desire to spend time in this prison. So he asks you to carry him upstairs. And
okay, that's what I'll do.
You bring him upstairs, and for a long time, he just sits and stares out at the rain and won't talk to anybody. He just looks at what's happening outside, and he's just been locked down there in the dark for so long that he's forgotten nearly everything. So he just stares out at the rain for like a long time. And finally, he comes back inside and asks if he can have another good berry.
Yeah, sure.
So the second good berry seems to restore him even further. He that's it for him. Essentially, he can't take any more and asks for help, being led to one of the beds and collapses into it. And yeah, you can see that that's all that you'll be able to get out of him for the night. But as you put him away to bed there, you hear something. Finally, the rain has stopped outside. It has been raining for a solid week, and you've gotten so used to it that its absence is almost startling to you. So at last, the rain has ended there.
Mm-hmm.
So this concludes our adventure for today with the rescue of Crozius, the learning of the identity of Ripter, the warlock from Earthworth.
I'll get you.
Yeah. Jeez, how many times are you going to stab this guy, Logic? That's ridiculous right there.
Hopefully only one more time.
But so now you know a little bit about how this all went down, hopefully. And at the start of our adventure tomorrow, hopefully, Crozius will be recovered enough that you can ask him what's up and get a little bit more data about this whole thing. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for D&Ding up. I want to say happy birthday to Kuntz right here. Hell yeah. With
Happy
his
birthday, bro.
improved
14 years
Happy
old.
birthday.
Woo, teenager!
It's looking George Tog.
And thanks everybody for joining this week. And I think we will be back on Tuesday next week
Next week.
at our regularly scheduled time. Penis pump.
Hell yeah.
All right. Later, everyone.